Now let's take a look at this morning's top stories, what you need to know before you go. Well, another reminder comes from city crews who are doing the cleanup work in Sioux City following that weekend snowstorm. The past weekend was the first snow emergency of the season. Snow emergencies are decided by the Public Works Director, Field Services Manager, City Manager, and Mayor. Residents need to make sure to get their vehicles moved once it's safe to do so.
If your vehicle isn't moved and gets plowed around by one of our snow plows, it's important that you dig yourself out because if it doesn't get moved, that car could be tagged and it could be towed.
But that's not the only thing that residents should remember to do after the snowfall. And over that snowy weekend, the Nebraska State Patrol announced their troopers removed 24 impaired drivers from the road during the Thanksgiving weekend. In addition to the 24 people arrested for driving under the influence, 363 citations were issued for speeding, 11 citations were issued for no seat belts, and troopers assisted 303 drivers on the roads. The Nebraska State Patrol advises people to check the Nebraska 511 app before heading out on a road trip, especially with the snow officially in season. Meanwhile, after weeks of delay and debate, Sioux City City Council members came to a decision regarding a financial contribution to the Siouxland initiative. Council members approved the $60,000 subsidy last night. Council members had previously raised concerns regarding how the money would be used and where it would fit into the Regional Economic Development Organization's budget. Yesterday, the council voted 3-1 in favor of approving the payment. Alex Waters voted no, and Julie Shaner abstained. City documents indicate no property taxes will be utilized. The Siouxland initiative focuses on enhancing employment opportunities in the tri-state region. Mayor Bob Scott says he wants to see better communication between the two groups.
At the end of the day, we have a lot of land in the industrial area that they were partners in that we wouldn't have in the city right now. And you got to look at the big picture for me. Others can look at it differently, but the big picture is that we need them as a partner to be able to do some of the things that we've been able to do. And, the vast majority of that board are made up of local business people that want the city to do good.
In other council news, members approved plans for the 8th Street reconstruction project from Douglas to Jackson Street. The project is slated for the summer of 2026, and it's expected to be complete before the end of the year. Well, officials announced that one Siouxland fire chief is stepping down. Ryan Bergman announced on November 30th he will step down at the end of 2025 as the Akron fire chief. Bergman says the decision is due to a full-time job, which keeps him out of Akron on weekdays. Now he adds he will stay at the fire department, just not as fire chief. The next fire chief has been voted in to take over. That's Jake Schindler. He brings 19 years of experience. Bergman says he believes Schindler has the required leadership needed for the role. Schindler will assume that role of fire chief in January. And it kind of feels like January out there today with those cold temperatures.
Yeah, a very cold start to our morning and not going to warm too much through our day today. Temperatures only into those low to mid 30s, generally leaning towards the lower end of those. 24 degrees for our Wednesday, a milder night for our Tuesday and into Wednesday, 17 degrees. Look at that overnight low though, Wednesday night and into Thursday, 10 below, very cold behind the cold front that brings us some flurries and light snow potential for the night tonight. Might even see a little freezing drizzle. 21 degrees for our Thursday, looking at 32 for Friday. Very, very cold. We don't get back to more normal conditions until we head towards the week next week. but we start the weekend before that with some snow chances. Saturday, looking to see some light snow potential. Still watching that, although still not looking as impactful as the weekend system we saw for the post-Thanksgiving holiday travel. Upper 20s for our Saturday, low 20s for Sunday. So kind of a fall between the 2 days of the weekend. We only see a handful of days above freezing through this week. 33 for today, 32 for Friday. Should get a little bit of melting. And then we see some of those quieter conditions for Monday and into the week. Next week, could see a few flurries from time to time, but those temperatures going to stay in the low and mid 30s. That's much closer to where we should be for this time of year. We do see those average high temperatures should be in those really mid and upper 30s, so between about 36 and 38 degrees, and we're well below that for right now, especially with that snow that is helping keep things colder, even as we see some sunnier conditions for our Thursday. Again, looking very, very cold for us. Not expecting much of a warm up for the rest of the week this week. And we do continue to see very cold conditions. And I'm not looking forward to that 10 below low temperature for us.